Well, it's a real pleasure for me to be here today. We've already had the land acknowledgement, so we'll go on to my remarks. Usually, I don't follow a script. Usually, I talk from my heart. These remarks hold my heart, so I'll speak from them. Before I really want to get started on this, though, I want to make sure everybody realizes the future that Thunder Bay has in Northwestern Ontario. It's truly a place of the future. All of the metals and minerals that are going to be required to transform our economy and transform our economy are right here in Thunder Bay. I'm a complete advocate for Thunder Bay. These aren't in my remarks, but I firmly believe Thunder Bay will be a city of at least 200,000 people. It has so much offering it. It is the hub of the economy in Northwestern Ontario. I want to make sure that everybody really understands what a privileged place Thunder Bay has at the top of the Seaway, the Great Lakes. It's a phenomenal place, close to the U.S. border. The natural resources are there, the room, the clean air, the agricultural. It's all here. So if you are talking to anybody in Thunder Bay or around Thunder Bay, you must stop them and say, that's wrong. Our future is here, a secure future in Thunder Bay. It's unparalleled. You must remember that. You must advocate for your city. Because I have met some people from Thunder Bay, and they've been negative. Stop it. You must advocate for your city. You have a privileged place here in Ontario. Thank you to Central Canada Resources Expo for hosting this wonderful event and inviting me to speak here today. This important conference brings us together, some of the best and brightest minds in the resource sector, to connect and exchange ideas. Today's projects in the pipeline sessions are a platform for us to hear from up-and-coming juniors, established mining companies, CEOs, and their management in this region. There has never been a better time to have these events because mining is only getting more important to our economy and to our everyday lives. And our government has a game plan to seize this opportunity to fuel the technologies of tomorrow today. From investing in exploration and innovation to cutting red tape, our government is supporting a strong Made in Ontario supply chain for this sector. Securing our supply chain. Everybody's aware of the geopolitical tensions that exist in the world today. We have the opportunity to secure our supply chain here in Ontario. That's absolutely critical. I focus on my remarks usually on critical minerals, but I want to talk about as well, we can't forget gold. We can't forget the position that gold has in our economy and where the price of gold is going to go. And these aren't in my remarks as well. We know that China produces the most gold in the world. They hold the most gold in the world. They will be the world's largest economy. It's a debate. It's going to happen. The debate will be just how long. And they are going to want to hold the world's currency. And it's going to be backed by gold. And we've got a number of gold opportunities here in Northwestern Ontario as well as producing mines. So Don't forget about that when we're talking about in my remarks. It also includes, the future also includes an incredible bright future for gold. The Greenstone mine in Geraldton is an example of that. So I don't know that Thunder Bay has ever been really focused or known as a gold site as opposed to places like Timmins or Kirkland Lake, but Thunder Bay will be. This is how we will reach our goal of making Ontario the #1 mining jurisdiction in the world and generate prosperity for all communities in our great province. Communities in Southern Ontario, communities in Northern Ontario, and Indigenous communities. And it all starts with mining right here in Northern Ontario and right here in Thunder Bay. Mining has long been a driver of growth for Ontario and for Thunder Bay and the surrounding area. It is a pillar of our economy, contributing almost $13 billion annually to our GDP, and it is growing in importance, $13 billion annually. Northwestern Ontario is already home to 4 gold mines, 1 platinum group elements mine, and several exciting exploration projects. These mines have helped build up a robust and dynamic economy for Thunder Bay and the surrounding region. Mines like Impala Canada's historic Lakedale Platinum Group Elements, PGE mine, just 90 kilometers north of Thunder Bay, which is one of only 2 primary palladium mines in North America. Palladium is absolutely essential for the tech industry. I know people think about catalytic converters, but it's absolutely essential for the tech industry. I want to talk, and again, these aren't prepared remarks, but I know Thunder Bay has a research chair established. I think the Lakehead University established that about a year ago. So it's only going to get stronger, focusing on these rare earths and critical minerals. And Northwestern Ontario's 4 gold mines, which include Newmont's Musselwhite Mine, New Gold's Rainy River Mine, Evolution's Red Lake Mine, and Barrick's Williams Mine, and again, on the Greenstone mine as well. I think that mine will start producing at about 30,000 tons annually, on the way to 50,000 tons. Northwestern Ontario also has many significant exploration projects on the horizon, including gold, palladium, lithium, graphite, and nickel projects. They're all here in Northwestern Ontario. Significant critical minerals projects that are underway include Frontier Lithium's PAC Lithium Project, Green Technology Minerals Seymour Lake Lithium Project, Avalon Advanced Materials Separation Rapids Lithium Project, and the Ring of Fire Metals Eagle Nest Project. Just for a small sampling of the projects that are out there. And with approximately 900 Thunder Bay residents working in the mining sector, and with more 400 mining supply and service companies, Thunder Bay is a mining powerhouse. 900 Thunder Bay residents working in the mining sector, and more than 400 mining supply and service companies right here in Thunder Bay. That's got to make you feel pretty special. Under our government, the mining industry is thriving in Thunder Bay and across the province. We are thriving because we have the minerals the world needs, a competitive business climate, and a clean energy grid, a highly skilled workforce, and a legacy of mining innovation. Our world-class environmental and health and safety standards and our commitment to building meaningful partnerships with Indigenous communities also make Ontario the best place to invest and to do business. It's the best possible place to create the partnerships that are going to ensure the success of the mining industry in the Northwest, as well as the Northeast, in fact, throughout Ontario. The numbers tell the story. In 2022, Ontario was #1 in Canada for mineral exploration, spending totaling almost $1 billion, making almost a quarter of all mineral exploration expenditures nationally. So we're already there. Our plan is working. We also generated $13.5 billion worth of minerals in 2022. That's 22% of the country's mineral production value right here in Ontario. These are impressive numbers and something to be very proud of, but we can always do better. We will continue to build on this momentum and unlock Northern Ontario's critical minerals to fuel the economy of the future and bring prosperity to everyone in our province. I've said this before. Over a century ago, the U.S. found the fossil fuels, oil, in Texas. And shortly after that, they became the world's largest economy. We have those fuels here, the fuels of the future today, right here in Northern Ontario, as we transform our economy from fossil fuels to battery technologies. This is the place that we will get these fuels right here in Northern Ontario, Northwestern Ontario, Northeastern Ontario, and that will drive our economy forward. It starts with mining right here. It is, however, not just mining companies that grow our economy. Ontario's cutting-edge mining supply and services sectors produce more than $10 billion worth of mining supplies and services every year. $10 billion. The value added part of the industry, of course, that is required if you're going to develop the mines. The sector includes 1,400 companies, employing more than 47,000 people and annually contributing almost $4 billion to our GDP. Again, very impressive numbers. And these are the people you see around this expo, inside and outside of the rinks. They're the people that generate $4 billion to our GDP. Our world-class suppliers service both the domestic and international markets, offering some of the most advanced equipment and its support services, assisting with everyone from exploration to rehabilitation. It is an exciting time for our mining, and our government knows the best days are still ahead. We are paving the way for an unprecedented era of prosperity and job creation for the North, for Indigenous communities, and for all of Ontario. To unlock that prosperity in a time of global unrest, our government is acting decisively to build a supply chain that is fueled by Ontario's critical minerals. The EV revolution is happening right now, and it is changing our lives as we move off of fossil fuels. That's why our government has attracted $25 billion in EV and battery manufacturing investments in Ontario. $25 billion. But we need to secure the fuel that the next generation of vehicles needs, and that means building more mines. The key to the industry's long-term success lies in a continued strong commitment to innovation and a passion for progress. That's why we launched Ontario's first ever critical minerals strategy. You have to have the research, you have to have the innovation, and you have to have a passion for progress. And we've got that right here in this room. The strategy will boost the resiliency of our supply chain, expand innovation, and increase our exploration capacity, all while uniting the mineral producers in the North while manufacturing the might with the manufacturing might in Southern Ontario. So we'll be securing the supply chain. And our plan is working. Ontario was #1 in Canada for mineral exploration and expenditures in 2022, totaling $989 million in exploration. We are the #1 jurisdiction for exploration in Canada. The value of critical minerals produced in Ontario was $5.57 billion in 2022, an increase of more than $1.6 billion, or 41% over 2020-21. The world realizes what's happening, and we're responding. These numbers are no accident. They are a result of strategic investments and careful planning and hard work, not just by the government, of course, but by everybody here in the room, every sector of the mining sector. As part of our critical minerals strategy, last November we launched the Critical Minerals Innovation Fund, CMIF. The CMIF supports the critical minerals sector by funding research, development, and commercialization of projects to generate investments in Ontario's critical mineral supply chain. This $5 million fund is supporting Ontario-based projects in the critical minerals sector, ranging from mining and mineral processing to the recovery and recycling of minerals. The recycling of these materials, there's huge potential in the waste deposits in the Kidd Creek deposit in Timmins, and certainly all of Sudbury, the slag dumps and the tailings facilities. They hold the rare earths that were ignored through previous mining exercises. They weren't valued, so they sit in the tailings. We've revised the mining code, that the mining legislation, the Mining Act, to ensure that these tailings facilities will be reprocessed. Given that Thunder Bay is a central hub for the entire Northwestern mining sector, it's no wonder that many of these innovative projects are right here in this region. Funding includes $500,000 to Frontier Lithium for a project in Northwestern Ontario to help develop innovative lithium processing techniques. And I think you're all aware where Frontier Lithium is. It's just north and a little bit west of Red Lake. Magnificent lithium deposit. $500,000 to Ring of Fire's Metals for a project in the Ring of Fire region to test the feasibility of repurposing and storing all tailing materials underground in the form of backfill in mine works. Now, understand what I just said. No footprint for tailings on the surface. It will all be stored underground. Its footprint will be about the size of a postage stamp, again, to mitigate any possible environmental consequence of mining in that particular deposit. It's a phenomenal amount of research and development to ensure that the miners do it the best. It's not the only place that's doing this. I've told you many, many times about the fact that Valley spent $1.5 billion to eliminate any emissions from the superstack. $5.5 billion of their money. They've repurposed the materials, and they have offtake agreements on those. There is no emissions from the superstack in Sudbury. Spending $1.5 billion to get it done. We've also spent or donated or invested $475,000 in Carbonex Inc., an Indigenous-owned company, for a project in Fort William First Nation, Thunder Bay, to help refine the processes for converting mining waste, petroleum coke, and other byproducts to high energy density graphite for use in battery anode and cathode supply chains, right here in Thunder Bay. Carbonex, with a 100% owned Indigenous company. This is happening as we speak. Projects like these create opportunity and support groundbreaking work needed to develop the bold new technologies of tomorrow, creating prosperity for all communities across Ontario. All communities, Northern Ontario, Southern Ontario, Indigenous communities. But our government knows we need to find more mines to secure a future. That's why we launched the Ontario Junior Exploration Program, OJEP. Through OJEP, we have invested $35 million so junior mining companies can finance early exploration projects that will help us find the mines of the future. Critical part of the strategy. The drills have to turn. Another major part of our strategy is ensuring government operates at the same pace of business. That's why we passed the Building More Mines Act. This legislation amends the Mining Act to build a stronger mining sector, to seize the unprecedented economic opportunities, to fuel the EV revolution and the technologies of tomorrow. This is a bill that's very close to my heart. We passed this in March, and we're building out the regulations as I speak. But it's very important to understand there's not a word in the new bill versus the old bill respecting two very important points: Ontario's world-class environmental protections and the duty to consult. This bill is all about making the business of mining, the bureaucracy, more efficient. It's just not acceptable that it would take 15 years or 17 years to permit a mine in Ontario. And that's what it took in Cote Lake. That's a gold deposit just south of Timmins. And so what's happened with that? IAMGOLD, spending $2 billion to develop that project, 1,600 people employed during construction, full employment with the First Nations in the area. And that's Matawagami First Nations and the Flying Post. And they're developing a mine that does not discharge water. There is no environmental footprint. They're developing, their haulage fleet will be autonomous, no drivers. They'll be converting their haulage fleet to all electric. That's what miners do. That's what you guys in this room do. You do it the best. The Act, of course, makes us more competitive by aiming to save companies time and money by cutting red tape, clarifying requirements for rehabilitation, and creating regulatory efficiencies. If, in fact, we're going to be the #1 jurisdiction in Canada for mining, we realize that capital is mobile. And if there's no investment, if there's no return on that investment, it will go someplace else. It is competitive. We just had a very good session with the Mines and Energy Conference. That's sponsored by NRCan. All the provinces, all the territories are there. Everybody realizes it's a very competitive landscape. Every province wants the investment dollars to come to their province. And Ontario wants their dollars to come to this Ontario as well. And that's a big part of this Act. Before I conclude, I want a word on the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire region hosts some of the most promising mineral deposits in Canada. It has the potential to play an important role in the supply chain for EVs and other innovative technologies. By working with First Nations partners, we have created the opportunity for a corridor of commerce that can leverage health, economic, and social benefits while unlocking significant economic growth. But that's what this is all about. It's about building a better, more connected future for all of our children. It's what the chiefs in the area want. They want healthy communities. They want healthy people with a future in front of them. That's what's really driving the motivation of the First Nations communities, and of course, their fair share of the economic activity that's associated with it, realizing, of course, that happens with development. There are 3 environmental assessments happening right now for roads that connect First Nations to the highway network and the Ring of Fire. First Nations are leading the environmental assessments for the roads, and that's exactly as it should happen. That's exactly as it that's exactly how it should happen. So this is so much more about than mining. It's about the future of Northern Ontario, and we will support the leaders from any community in Northwestern Ontario that want to support development, led by Webequie and Martin Falls, every step of the way. As we look ahead, there's a great deal to be excited about, but we know there is still much more work to be done. That's why we're here at the Central Canada Resource Expo, networking, sharing, and learning from some of the most forward-thinking and passionate minds in the industry. Because the future of the mining industry and the Ontario economy will not be the work of one company, one organization, or one government. It will be a result of what we can do together. Thank you, and enjoy the conference.